Hello, this is Matt on the Moon Lambo channel. I think it's pretty clear to see at this point in May of 2021 that Bitcoin only has one use case that's actually been adopted, and that's store of value. Now, I believe that XRP specifically could, at some point in the future, steal that use case from Bitcoin to the point where it doesn't make sense for Bitcoin to exist anymore. And it doesn't even have to be XRP. It could be any number of cryptocurrencies that are solving a real-world problem. And so I'm not explicitly predicting that XRP will do that or that another cryptocurrency will do that, but it's very plausible, and I want to outline why in this video. There's actually a lot to unpack from here, including quotes from David Schwartz, who is Ripple's CTO and co-creator of the XRP ledger. Also, I want to share with you at least one comment from Bitcoin maximalist Michael Saylor. He said some very interesting stuff about Bitcoin lately, and I want to unpack a little bit of it, and it's an interesting peek into the mind of the Bitcoin maximalist. And I will say also, like, I actually am a fan of Michael Saylor. I think that the vast majority of what he says about crypto in general, it makes sense. A ton of stuff that he says about Bitcoin makes sense, but there are a couple things, at a minimum, where I hear the things he's saying, and it sounds way out in left field to me personally. I do want to be clear at the outset also, I don't have a financial background of any kind. I am not offering financial advice, and you should not buy or sell anything because of anything I say or write. I'm just an enthusiast who makes YouTube videos as a fun hobby about Ripple and XRP and crypto, and that's all that's going on here, damn it. If you came for something else, you can just get out. And so I want to touch on the very top part of this article from the Daily Hodl just to kick stuff off, and there's a lot to unpack in this video, but this is titled, Goldman Sachs predicts Ethereum will overtake Bitcoin as store of value. Oh, well, that's very interesting. And it's funny, Goldman Sachs, by the way, just a year ago, they said that cryptocurrency was not an asset class. Less than 1 year later, when I covered this in a video recently, less than 1 year later, they are embracing Bitcoin because now they're making money on it. So how about that? Now they're opining that Ethereum will overtake Bitcoin as a store of value. Which is interesting, and that's why I want to flesh this out, because if Ethereum ends up being long-term adopted, if it can actually scale, and that's a question mark, but if it's actually adopted, then I think that it will gather an additional use case as store of value, because I personally think that any cryptocurrency that's solving a problem will have long-term viability, because that represents value, which is different than price. Value is, okay, what problem are we actually solving? Price is just what it's trading for on cryptocurrency exchanges, right? But if a cryptocurrency is solving an actual problem, then it's going to have long-term viability. And so people will invest in it, I personally believe anyway, at least for one reason, as a store of value. You already see humans are doing this with precious metals. They're doing it with crypto today. It's just not clear which cryptocurrencies are going to have long-term viability. But I think any crypto that's going to have long-term viability will also get that additional use case of store of value, which is why if you look at Bitcoin specifically, given that it does nothing else, moving forward, because again, Bitcoin, yes, got store of value right now. But if you're jumping into the crypto space in the future, you're like, I'd like to diversify and jump into crypto. What might I invest in? Bitcoin that does nothing other than quote-unquote store of value, or XRP, which is a bridge currency. It's used in part as a new form of web monetization and a number of other use cases. Because you might think, well, if businesses need it to literally exist and conduct their business models, it probably got staying power. I'd probably feel more comfortable if I want store of value in crypto, investing in something like that I think is probably going to be around because businesses need it. And so there you go. It's got utility and store of value. But then if that starts happening, would you reach this tipping point where people are like, well, wait a minute, why am I continuing to put money in Bitcoin, which doesn't have something else? So that's why I'm a skeptic. I'm not saying that Bitcoin will ever be supplanted in terms of a market cap position, but it might be, because it's never been tested in an environment ever. And it's 12 years, never been tested in an environment where utility functionally matters in the crypto space, because this asset class is in its nascency and we're still trying to figure this out, frankly. And so anyway, this article begins as follows. Investment banking Goliath Goldman Sachs says that Ethereum will likely beat Bitcoin as a store of value. excerpts from the bank's research paper shared by Santiago Roel Santos, whose name I probably butchered on accident, a general partner at blockchain-focused investment firm Parify Capital, highlights Ethereum's fundamental advantages over Bitcoin. And check out this quote. Given the importance of real uses in determining store of value, ding, ding, ding. Can I read that again? This is what I've been saying the whole time I've been running this channel. Utility matters for the long-term viability of cryptocurrency. And so if additional utility doesn't matter for Bitcoin, then it's the only crypto on the planet that will ever get that free pass. And it will be because it was the first cryptocurrency and because humans have decided that standards matter. And I agree, standards in a general sense, of course, they do matter. Once the technology is in place, even if something's marginally better, it's hard to supplant something that's in place. Because the amount of turbulence, it typically isn't worth it for marginal increase. You have to have something that's leaps and bounds better. And so in terms of store of value, that's why I'm saying here, this line is important to me. It is, again, quote, given the importance of real uses in determining store of value, Ethereum has a high chance of overtaking Bitcoin as the dominant digital store of value. The Ethereum ecosystem supports smart contracts and provides developers a new way to create new applications on its platform. Most decentralized finance applications are being built on the Ethereum network, and most non-fungible tokens, or NFTs for short, issued today are purchased using Ether. The greater number of transactions in Ether versus Bitcoin reflects this dominance. And so I don't know if Ethereum is going to actually properly scale. I don't know if it's going to be something else like Cardano or pick your cryptocurrency. That's why all these cryptos are jockeying for a position. This is the nascent asset class figuring this out in a messy style, and that's how it needs to be. Just like during the dot-com boom and bust, we didn't know which internet companies deserved to have long-term viability, so let them all hash it out. Vast majority of them went bankrupt, and they're no longer with us. And that's how it's going to be with crypto here. We're just seeing that. And just because it's messy, it doesn't mean it's not the right thing to do. It's very messy. But that's okay. We just need to have everybody duke it out, and then we'll see what ends up having staying power. And so if it's Ethereum, if it's offering additional utility, if you're coming into the space, I got to ask you again, if Ethereum supplants Bitcoin in terms of market cap, and that money that investment is based upon utility, solving a problem. That's the reason it supplants Bitcoin in terms of market cap. If that happens, why will future people feel that it's safer to put money into Bitcoin which doesn't do anything additionally? That's a tough thing for me. That's tough. And so I'm not the only one that's thought this. Here's a headline from when was this? February 18th, 2021. Bitcoin will die the minute an altcoin flips it, Cardano founder says. And so I don't know for sure this is going to happen, but I've been saying this since the beginning of my channel. Actually, I was saying it before that. I've probably mentioned it on Twitter. Maybe I did, maybe I didn't, but I've been thinking it even before I launched my channel, which I launched the channel mid-December 2018. This is a legitimate thing to talk about. And so the Bitcoin maximalists out there that say, no, Bitcoin's been 100% vetted and tested, I say, no, it has not been tested in the environment that I'm describing here. And Charles Hoskinson sees exactly what I'm talking about here. And here's a quote. For Charles Hoskinson, the Cardano founder, Bitcoin is, quote, the least advanced of all cryptocurrencies. And if developers don't innovate, it will eventually die. And so check this out. In an interview shared on Cardano's official subreddit, Hoskinson assured that, just like fiat money, the only valuable thing Bitcoin has is its acceptance. For this reason, it will eventually die when it loses its only strong point, popularity. And here's a quote from him. Bitcoin is only valuable because it's valuable. It has no technological advantages. In fact, it's the least advanced of all cryptocurrencies, the least futuristic. There is no reason for it other than the fact that it exists. And there you go. And so this is a legitimate thing to talk about. So the question becomes, will Bitcoin be around forever purely because it was the first, because humans have decided standards matter and it doesn't have to do anything else? Or will it eventually get flipped, which would potentially lead to its demise because other cryptocurrencies also offer store value but do a whole bunch of other stuff? You tell me. I don't pretend to know for sure what's going to pan out, but let's not pretend like the conversation over. Look, I have 100% certainty, or as close to that as possible, that the crypto asset class will be here forever, or at least as long as the internet exists. But we could all be betting on the wrong course, including XRP. Mind you, I am Mr. XRP bull. I'm pro XRP. It's my largest crypto position, and I do think there's a legitimate shot it can have serious long-term viability. It's solving real-world problems. It's using enterprise-grade software, but I don't know that for sure. There could be something that comes out of left field that I couldn't have possibly thought of potentially happening. And so I acknowledge that, and that's why I'm not one of these people in the XRP community that says zero doubt. You know, have you ever seen the hashtag zero doubt on Twitter? Nothing against the people that embrace that. I appreciate the sentiment because it's like a vote of confidence in XRP, and that's what I take it as, and I get that. So nothing but respect. But for me, I want to speak as specifically as possible and acknowledge I do have doubt about every single cryptocurrency that I hold, including XRP, because I don't know how this is going to unfold. And I think it's useful to be intellectually honest rather than buy a coin and get tribal and say, no, this is the one. I don't like tribalism. There's not going to be one winner. I just don't like that stuff. But in the short term here, look at this. And this is why I want to argue that that XRP specifically, it could supplant Bitcoin in terms of market cap. But I want to be clear, like if that's going to happen, because look, here's how I think it's going to shake down. Even if Bitcoin's going to be around forever, even if it is, purely because it was the first, and even if it's going to get supplanted in terms of market cap, the only reason that Bitcoin will get supplanted in terms of market cap, big picture, excuse me, is if a cryptocurrency or cryptocurrencies are perceived to offer more value, and that valuable is scalable, so it helps more people. That means more money will flow into it. So it's kind of like, here's the problem, this cryptocurrency is solving it. How many people is it solving it for, and how much money as a result will flow in? If more money flows in to a different cryptocurrency that's solving a different use case, if that's a more important problem that's being solved for more people, then that will be the cryptocurrency that ends up at number one. And so it's not about which is the most technologically advanced, not outright. It's about what is solving real world problems. And so even if XRP ends up solving a real world problem, I mean, it is today, but if it's more globally accepted and will be here forever, if we fast forward decades and it's a clear winner, that doesn't mean that it will be number one, though it could be. Because what if there's another cryptocurrency that's not directly competing with any of XRP's core use cases, but it's solving a problem for more people? Well, then that cryptocurrency would be number one. That makes way more sense to me, right? But in the short term, what do we see here? And I mentioned, I made a video where I basically was talking, I'm not going to rehash it, but I was talking about how XRP basically does everything. Because of how technologically advanced it is relative to pretty much any other cryptocurrency out there, it's being adopted for so many things. One of the few things that it can't do by default is and this was intentional, but it doesn't have any smart contract functionality built into it, because there are pros and cons to building that in, which David Schwartz, one of the architects of the XRP ledger, has spoken about at length. And so they could have put smart contract functionality in there, but then it couldn't have done other stuff. And I'm not going to get into the specifics why this video, way outside the scope of this video. But different cryptos can do different things. Now, it's also true if you know what Flare Network is doing. It adds smart contract capability to XRP. You can combine the two. That's a whole nother conversation also. So even there, it could potentially be used for that, I'm saying. But here you have, for instance, a Sologenic. This is just one example, where they're attempting to tokenize everything, including stocks, on the XRP ledger. And this is good for XRP itself, because my understanding is that you have to set up a trust line, which affects the supply and demand of XRP. And then there's this headline. Ripple is being considered for trade finance by large organizations. And I spoke about this at length. Again, not going to get into the specifics in this video, but I did want to mention this. It can be used for trade finance, with XRP specifically as a bridge currency. Right? And then you have this also, because they were talking about Ethereum and NFTs. Funny enough, we'll take a look at this from Yahoo Finance. Ripple adds NFT support on XRP ledger to minimize gas fee. And so even there, it's not clear that Ethereum will be the winner when it comes to NFTs. It's too early to know. It doesn't mean XRP will be. That would be awesome. I mean, again, it's my largest holding. Fantastic. But we don't know that, and the conversation is not over. But XRP, if XRP is being used to solve problems that are sufficiently large, it can dethrone Bitcoin. And so, frankly, the way I look at it is any cryptocurrency that's solving a real world problem, it's going to get that store of value. And so, like with Bitcoin, it's just store of value, but take any other crypto, store of value plus whatever else it does. Well, if that's the case, any crypto that does something should supplant Bitcoin in terms of market cap. Even if Bitcoin doesn't go to zero, how does Bitcoin continue to be? Is it, unless it's really going to be the case that purely because it's the first? Okay, fine. If that isn't sufficiently important to humans, and we'll see what happens as utility continues to take hold in the crypto space, then it will be supplanted by XRP as long as it continues to be adopted, as well as any other cryptocurrency that has long-term viability that is continuing to solve a problem. Because it will be whatever that cryptocurrency does, maybe it'll be multiple use cases, plus store of value. So that's more than what Bitcoin can do. It is functionally too slow. So, and even then, unless you're talking about if Lightning Network magically works and things change, but I'm telling you, as I'm recording in May of 2021, such things, if they ever happen, fine. I'm not against that. I'm just observing what's happening here. It's not apparent those things are going to happen in May of 2021. So you could be listening to this like 100 years from now, but in which case, you're a future person. You're really a future person. But it's not apparent in 2020. I don't care what anybody else says. It is not apparent what is going to happen. There are so many ways this could unfold, and people that pretend like everything's all settled here and there's no room for debate, they're just tribal, disingenuous, or ignorant, or maybe all. I don't know. So take a look at what Michael Saylor had to say. And again, this is nothing against him personally. I actually agree with the vast majority of his outlook and the things he said about crypto and Bitcoin in general. I'm just more of the stance like it hasn't been tested. I mean, it's been very tested to this point, but it hasn't been tested in the environment that I've been describing in this video. And I think that's actually really important, frankly. We don't know for sure how humans are going to behave in a more mature market. We just haven't seen it yet. That's a test it has to go through. And maybe it'll pass and it'll be number one forever. Maybe not, though. And so Michael Saylor, who is the founder and CEO of publicly traded company MicroStrategy, like their company has spent at this point billions, I believe, in purchasing Bitcoin. And he's absolutely the definition of a maximalist. He doesn't think other coins make sense and that they're going to be adopted. He says there is no second place coin. I may have covered that on the channel. I can't recall now, but I've seen it in the news. I've listened to him talk. And to me, that's just too far because different cryptocurrencies do different things. Different people will want different cryptocurrencies for different reasons. And so it doesn't make sense to have this one size fits all, which is why I've joked in the past. I've said, what's that? You wear a size 13 tennis shoe? Here's a size 6. Make it work. You know, it's like... different people need different things, and different cryptocurrencies use different technology. It's a silly approach, I think. It won't be a one-size-fits-all. So I don't like that no matter who says that. I am not a maximalist of any cryptocurrency. But here, Michael Saylor was interviewed by Julia Chatterley on CNN, and he said some very interesting stuff. Gosh. So here's a quote from him, because he retweeted Julia Chatterley, who shared the segment, and he wrote the following. Bitcoin mining makes it the superior long-term store of value asset for institutions and a powerful force driving the use of sustainable energy and the recycling of stranded and wasted energy. Oh my God, that's a lot to unpack, but I'm going to do it. I'm like, no offense to Michael Saylor, but hearing stuff like that, it's gobbledygook, and I don't mean that in a mean way, but it makes my brain hurt. It really is a bunch of nonsense, as I will explain right now. By highlighting first this tweet from David Schwartz, because again, Michael Saylor here, he's saying that mining, so we're talking about mining, mind you, we're talking about the way in which Bitcoin is distributed. Mining is the distribution mechanism. And so take a look at this. David Schwartz wrote the following. What blockchain technology does, excuse me, and this is on May 21st this year, by the way. David Schwartz, co-creator of the XRP ledger, he wrote, what blockchain technology does is allow any group of people who can sufficiently agree on rules to interoperate securely. But there is no coercive power to force anyone to accept any rules they don't like. I agree that it collapses if there is no such group. And so, as I've stated on this channel for a long time, any cryptocurrency is only decentralized insofar as the participants utilizing the cryptocurrency can agree on the rules. David Schwartz has pointed out in the past that, he could spin up a Bitcoin node that says that he has 1 trillion Bitcoin. He could do that. But if nobody listens to him, does it matter? If nobody agrees that that's the actual state of the Bitcoin blockchain, does it matter? No. But if everybody did agree with him, then within that system, if actually humans could choose to do this, it's not going to happen. I'm just saying, but they could choose to do this. And then if they're all like, oh yeah, David Schwartz, right there, he's got a trillion Bitcoin, then it changes. That's the nature of a decentralized system. That's true of Bitcoin, and that's true of the XRP ledger. And so again, any system is only decentralized insofar as the participants within that closed ecosystem are making the decisions. There is no central authority. There's no one center of business or human that can be dictator for all. It's just a group of people sufficiently decentralized with a ton of participants. That's exactly what it is. And so when you're talking here about mining doing that, it's absolutely not true. In fact, I encourage you all to Google David Schwartz, "The Best Incentive is No Incentive." And it's a talk that he gave the talk twice that I'm aware of. Both talks were 25 to 30 minutes. And he articulates the case as to why proof of work is not the best incentive. The best incentive is no incentive. If you want a sufficiently decentralized cryptocurrency, the best way to have a level playing field is to not monetarily incentive. And he makes the case. So Google that seriously when you're done with this video. David Schwartz, "The Best Incentive is No Incentive." And he really breaks it down in great detail. And so this idea that mining makes Bitcoin superior long term, no, that's a distribution mechanism and it's not going to matter. What about when all the Bitcoin is distributed, which is estimated to happen, I believe, in the year 2140? That's because that's how long it's supposed to take. When it's all out there, what the hell does mine? Why would it matter how it got out? Once it's in the wild, it's in the wild. And so you have with the XRP ledger no mining and arguably more decentralized than the Bitcoin blockchain. And so what Michael Saylor is stating here, it is not true. It is absolutely so. I don't know that he's being deceptive. I'm not going to make that claim. He may just literally not know. It could literally be the definition of ignorance, but he's wrong. He's absolutely wrong right here. And then he wrote this also. Let me make sure I want to move first. Oh, yeah, actually, I do want to share one more tweet from David Schwartz before jumping on to the next topic, or portion of this. It's the same, all of it's the same topic. But David Schwartz also wrote the following. "It's easy to forget that centralization has advantages. Someone is responsible for making sure things work and fixing them when they break. You can sue them if they cheat or default. Decentralization is inherently different and relies on people agreeing to interoperate." Yeah, that's true. And so to everybody out there that thinks everything needs to be decentralized, I firmly disagree. There's a place for centralization in life. I firmly agree. I've been citing that on this channel for a long time too. Okay, so now as for the next thing that Michael Saylor said though, that Bitcoin is a powerful force for driving the use of sustainable energy. Now this is a comment that really just makes me just like go, oh, audible sigh. All sighs are audible, but it's more funny to say it that way. Audible sigh and a facepalm. Did you hear the facepalm? Is it close enough to the mic? That's the facepalm. I hope the mic picked it up. I did it like 4 times. So check this out. All right, this is here we go. No, that's not it. This is the one. Sorry, guys. Here's a tweet from Jack Dorsey of Twitter fame, of course, April 21st. "Bitcoin incentivizes renewable energy." And I read that and just it makes my simple little moon Lambo brain explode. I'm like, oh gosh, no. That is nonsense. But Elon Musk, billionaire Elon Musk, running Tesla and SpaceX, he responds with one word: true, on April 22nd. On April 22nd, David Schwartz then jumped in and he came in. He is the voice of reason. He's speaking truth. And here's what he said, which is absolutely accurate. "Saying Bitcoin incentivizes the development of clean power is like saying gas guzzlers incentivize the development of electric cars. The problem with growing clean power isn't that there's not enough demand for power. If clean power is cost competitive with dirty power, it will grow. If not, it will require artificial incentives to grow. It's that simple. More demand makes no difference." So clearly there is sufficient demand for this, but adding more demand to the already way too much demand isn't going to make a difference. This could not be more crystal clear. And so you look at what Michael Saylor's here, and I'm just sitting here thinking, are you just trying to devise any argument that people might buy if they don't understand what's actually happening here? Or do you actually believe this? Because for me, in this case, I like to give people the benefit of the doubt, but this one's so far out in left field, that it's hard for me to believe. And then the whole thing about the way in which Bitcoin is distributed being required for security. No. We are XRP, no mining required, sufficiently secure. And that comment is way out in left field also. And I'm just sitting here wondering, does he believe what he's saying? I mean, I like to take people at their word. And again, I agree with the vast majority of what he says about crypto and Bitcoin in general. And the reasons why the cryptocurrency asset class is so important. But man, those are not good arguments. They really are not. They do not stand. And so then there was this also. There's a chart analyst named Il Capo who tweeted on May 25th, I repeat, the flippening is likely before this cycle ends. Now, to be clear, I do not believe, I think there's close to a 0% chance that Bitcoin will get flipped this market cycle. In the future, much higher chance. It could happen. I don't know for sure if it will. This market cycle, very close to 0% chance, with the reason being, I'm looking at humans behaving the same way as they did in previous market cycles, which is the vast majority of money flows into Bitcoin first. Eventually, people want to take profits, then it'll flow into other large cap coins and mid cap coins, but it doesn't all go to one at one time. It'll splinter off. And then, true enough, people see that something starts taking off parabolically, and then people FOMO, but the price gets bid up pretty quickly with not that much money. And so it won't be more money than what flowed into Bitcoin, because Bitcoin's at the top. No more. Bitcoin will be the coin that most money flows into. If you compare it to any other individual cryptocurrency this market cycle, it will be up there. And so you would need more money to flow into any other individual coin if you think that Bitcoin's going to be supplanted in terms of market cap this market cycle. I don't believe that's going to happen, because I see humans behaving the same way they previously did. And so not that it wouldn't happen in the future necessarily, but in this market cycle, no. Somebody responded to that named Solly and wrote the following, which I thought was not the best way of looking at this, but interesting nonetheless, so I wanted to highlight it. He wrote, "You guys really don't get it, do you? Flippening is an attack on Bitcoin and crypto. If it happens, it's the end. If Ethereum can flip a Bitcoin, then Doge can flip Ethereum, and so on. Don't be greedy about your own bags if you understand the concept. By the way, nothing will flip Bitcoin ever, so good luck." I don't think that he sufficiently thought through this. And so no, just because something drives more value and more money flows to that, it doesn't mean that it's the end for Bitcoin, and necessarily, and it certainly doesn't mean it's the end for crypto. And so here's what I wrote in response to that. I wrote, if the crypto asset class is so weak and feeble that it no longer has long-term viability just because Bitcoin is no longer number one by the single metric of market cap, then the whole asset class deserves to go away. But that's not what would happen. Money will flow to value over time. Now that I firmly believe. But yeah, absolutely. If Bitcoin and the whole asset class is so weak that Bitcoin gets flipped by this one metric of many metrics, it gets flipped by this one metric, and then it's an attack and it all goes away. No. The fact that he says it's an attack speaks to the degree to which humans are tribal about this. Wherever the value is, that's where the money should flow. And to think that it has to be Bitcoin and anything else is an attack and it's bad, that's an unsophisticated and tribal way of looking at the world. I cannot get in line with that. I do not like maximalism of any coin. I like intellectually honest, open debates. And so I could be wrong about some of the stuff that I believe, but that's why it's so fun to talk about this stuff. It's only fun with intellectually honest people that are just seeking the truth. It's okay to be wrong about stuff, but it's not fun or productive unless you're in an environment where people are willing to say, I suspect this might be the case. I could be wrong, though, which is what I'm doing. That's the right way to approach stuff in life in general. But to just make up all sorts of arguments that you think might sound persuasive just to defend your case, even if you don't genuinely believe them 100%, like that is deceptive. And people, if anyone's doing that, like people see through that crap. They really do. And then people will just trust you less. Really. If they don't think that you're being intellectually honest, you're just going to erode trust. So it's better to just be okay. Just have a stance where, like, in life, whether it's crypto or anything you're talking about, being like, this is what I believe, but if you have a compelling case, I'm willing to be persuaded. And if you say that and you really mean it, people are going to pick up on that. And they'll like you more. And they'll trust you more. But when you have this tribal crap like this, no. It's not going to build up trust. It's not going to help get to the truth of anything. So that's what I got to say on that, but I'll wrap up there. Let me know what you think below. I am not a financial advisor. Do not buy or sell anything because of anything I say or write. That would be a very, very, very bad idea. Until next time, to the moon, Lambo.